Okay. Dr. Oren Fierst is an entrepreneur, investor, and inventor. Among his creations are Dario, a smartphone-generated glucose monitoring system, Medavizor, a medical informatics company, and Circ MedTech, a developer of pre-PEX and HIV prevention medical device. He also co-founded Tevel Global, a global network of angel investors with a focus on Israeli-related technology companies. Dr. Fierst? Excuse me for the mispronunciation.
No problem. All right, thank you very much. Good morning. Glad to have you here. And we're going to talk about Dario today. So first, we're a public company, so we have the forward-looking statement, disclaimers, which you're welcome to read at your leisure. And let's start with the highlights. So what is Labstyle? So we are addressing a gigantic market, essentially an existing market that has little innovation. We're talking about the test strips market in the glucose monitor sector. We're looking at the creation of a device that I'm actually going to keep it in my pocket for a while, that is actually changing that marketplace. $12 billion market, combining the existing market with the emergence of mobile phones, and the mobile platforms in general. What we plan to do is to increase, by using smart innovation called Dario, to increase compliance of diabetics. As a result, we're looking to have a better caregiver monitoring, and all that with a business model that is really focused on perpetuities. What we have is essentially near-term launch. We're about to launch the product within a few short weeks in Europe, to be followed by other jurisdictions. And we have a model that is effectively a subscription model. From a business perspective, it's akin to a subscription model for the consumption of test strips. Test strips of a glucose concentration in your blood. Now, what is the company itself? A bit about the company. We're a Delaware company created in 2011 based on IP that we started to develop a year before that. We're headquarters in Israel. The IP is held by the Israeli subsidiary. The company went public just a couple of months ago. It's a straight S1. We raised thus far $16 million, 6 still as a private company, and 10 as a PIPE, shortly after we became, with the S1, we became effective. We have about 19 million shares outstanding, all in all on a fully diluted basis, including warrants and ESOP, 30 million shares. Traded at roughly 2.75. Obviously, we need to check the ticker in real time in order to quantify the market cap. So what we're doing is really changing the landscape by using style. Now, when you look in here, in the middle of the picture, you have Dario. Dario is addressing this market. 350 million diabetics worldwide, of which about 20 to 30% are insulin dependent, creating an immediate target market of about 100 million patients, which is the vast majority of the consumption of test strips, which is in turn an existing market of $12 billion, growing very rapidly with expectations to exceed $27 billion in just a few short years. So we started by looking at the business side. We looked at the current market, we looked at the trends of the glucose monitors, and what we saw that from the 90s until now, there hasn't been a lot of innovation in this field. While for people in the field, it seems that there are new devices coming out constantly. They're all pretty much doing the same, with just a footprint that is becoming smaller and smaller, but the principles have been kept the same. You always have a kit. You always have a kit with a lancing device, with the glucometer, and a vial with test strips. Making any diabetic like walking around with a kit, with a zippered, always black zippered kit, that he needs to carry with him constantly. You're looking at the device themselves, they all look alike, they're not that aesthetically appealing, they're functional, but they're not up to speed with modern innovations in the mobile device industry. And worst, most of them are disconnected. That is, once you capture the result, unless you document it manually or you connect it with a cable to your home computer and then document it with an antiquated piece of software, the results are lost. So whenever you go into the appointment with your doctor, or whenever there's any extreme results, nobody knows about them. So what we did was to take that combination of mobile devices, existing market, lack of innovation, and we created Dario. So I'm going to show you a short clip that is representing the product. The clip, mind you, is geared a bit toward the younger population, meaning the teenagers and the twins, and let's look at that.
First of all, you have to have one, because when you have Dario, nothing holds you back. Your Dario comes with a meter that connects directly to your iPhone and a cartridge containing 25 test strips. Connect the meter to the audio socket on your iPhone and activate the Dario application. Is that easy or what?
Si, senor.
Really? A cha-cha dancer?
Pull the strip out of the strip exit port and place it inside the meter. Now, are you ready for the real thing? Load the lancet, place your finger here and press here to activate the sterile lancet. Just put your finger on the strip and wait a few seconds. Let our speedy app get to work as it analyzes, compares, and updates your results.
Wow! Stop everything! If they think that I'm going to sit back here playing second fiddle again, go on.
It has everything you need, from the data entry through the food intake and insulin calculator and up to the event log. Doug, it looks like you've been working out lately. If you want to have a treat, just look for it in your database and you'll have all the information you need. Share the results with your doctor. You don't have to go there. Just send them direct, fast, and easy. Simple, comfortable, and elegant. Now, did I already mention that with Dario, nothing holds you back?
Mommy, how does he do that? Knock, knock. This is silly.
So this is Dario. Taking an existing market, creating a device that is compact, simple, beautiful, and which is actually a personalized data device. It's a lifestyle device, yet it's a medical device. So effectively what we have is a patented technology with a smartphone-based glucometer connecting to your audio jack, built-in lancing device, and built-in strip dispenser with consistent reliability, because for the first time we're actually having a strip-like dispenser, which is almost like a Pez candy type dispenser that guarantees consistent reliability from the first test strip throughout the end of the cartridge, the 25th strip. A known problem in the glucose monitoring industry, which is about the replicability of results between different test strips. Let's look at another clip. I just returned from the American Diabetes Association, and whenever there would be a meeting, and I would just take out Dario out of my pocket, show it to a diabetic, typically the type 1 diabetics, which are, most of the attendees on that American Diabetes Association in Chicago were related to the field through being patients themselves. And I will just boot up the application and connect Dario and pull out the strip and put the strip onto the device, and then turn it around again and punctuate myself. And do that. And this is after their heavy meal. Okay? That's all you need. No kit. And they're looking at me and stare at me and says, wow, this is the new standard of care. It's as simple as that. But we didn't stop there. This is the beginning of a cruise. Okay? It's a cruise about lifestyle. It's about changing the life of diabetics. Nothing less than that. So what we did was, beyond the hardware and beyond the results, we also have built-in calculators, reminders, alerts, and we're going to talk about the software piece as well, and how we can change and exchange care, diabetes care, worldwide. So we're looking at the blood glucose information, we're looking at food intake, physical activities, connectivity to other devices down the road, we're looking at insulin recommendations to the diabetics, and we're looking at data analysis tools and sharing tools. So we're looking at, think of a teenager going to school, testing himself, supposed to test himself about 7 times during that day, during that time frame in which he's in school. Now, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m., should he go to play basketball or should he test himself and then inject? Well, he doesn't test himself. Suddenly, there is a reminder to his mom or to his dad that he did not check himself. Just one illustration. Comes after meal, he ate that pizza, he injected insulin, but he injected too much. And suddenly he had a hypo, meaning a decline, a significant decline in the blood glucose level. This is a dangerous situation. In many cases, unless the patient himself already is familiar with this notion, and many of them are just ignoring that notion until it's too late in a sense, they need to be hospitalized, they need to be vacated from school and so on, suddenly there's a reminder here, or an alert that could be done to the parent, the school teacher, the school nurse, depending on the setting on the device, and immediately some glucose tablets could be thrown at the kid, or brought some chocolate muffin could be brought to the kid. These are all life-saving tweaks. Okay, these are steps that are changing the lives of diabetics. We're not just talking about convenience factor. For them, it's a life-changing device. And we did that in a fun and engaging way. So a little bit on the reports. One of the things is that a user needs to look at the reports and the ranges of the fluctuation of the result in correlation with the food intake and in correlation with the insulin intake. Other reports are summarizing for the doctors or other caregivers, like the nurse practitioner, the diabetes nurse, and others, the results over a predefined time frames. We have dashboards for clinicians. We have dashboards for medical institutions. So the device is personal, yet is accessible via the web at the permission of the patient. It's a combination of an app residing on a smartphone or any mobile device for that matter. And if you saw, I connected it to the audio jack, okay, as opposed to the digital docket. That means that it's a universal device. It works both on the iOS as well as on the Android version. So we're looking at very accurate strips, but that's standard. If we exceed the standards, we're fine. But the ecosystem that we created is the revolution. Again, we're looking at real-time data, historical data that is tailor-made and could be analyzed. We're looking at the ability to create pattern recognition in order to create better insulin regimens. We're looking, in fact, at the holy grail of diabetes research, which relates to the notion of refining the way treatment is being provided, both on the drug regimens, the ability to test new regimens, the ability to test new medications, because we have a built-in data management system. Effectively, we can run clinical studies on the fly. We're looking also at social interaction between users. And in Chicago, in the American Diabetes Association, this created a lot of noise among the bloggers. Bloggers in the diabetes communities, many of which would have memberships of, to the tune of 20, 30, 50,000 members, extremely active, sharing tips about their lifestyle, and suddenly they can do it from within the application, from within what they used to call the glucometer. And that's another revolution for them. That same teenager suddenly can get tips for life from his colleagues. And we have a ranking mechanism that could allow people that with lots of credibility, meaning people that were able to maintain balanced lifestyle, that can get higher ranking when they're making recommendations to their colleagues. So what is the business model? The business model is straightforward to begin with. We sell strips. What we sell are actually these cartridges of 25 strips each that are part of the device. This component has 25 strips. That's what we sell. It's fully reimbursable, pretty much in all jurisdictions that we're selling the device. And it has very high margins for us, but that's only the beginning. We also create this data repository, which is in fact going to be the largest repository of lifestyle information and data, medical data about diabetics. And that's an extremely valuable data for pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies, food industry, and other partners. The weighted average of any consumer, if you look at Germany, one of our initial target markets, the weighted average is creating an annualized revenue north of $1,000 per user, pretty much in perpetuity. What does it mean? Because we have such deep database about each and every one of the consumers, we expect a much higher loyalty rate when it comes to continuing to use our device. A few words on the management team. Other than myself, Professor Itamar Raz is the head of our scientific advisory board, and we announced yesterday that he's actually joining our board of directors. Professor Itamar Raz is a luminary in diabetes research, well regarded, and also well known for the premise of proactive care. Having more data, increased compliance, and early stage treatment of diabetes to reduce in a massive way the cost of and the burden on the healthcare system. That is the premise of Labstyle when it comes to diabetes. We increase compliance, we expect to increase compliance and reduce overall burden of diabetes cost on the system. To sum up, we have near-term launch in Europe. We have already announced some distribution deals in Europe, in the UK, Belgium, and Italy. In some markets, we're going to be selling directly online, utilizing the ability of our device to communicate directly with consumers. We have a recurring revenue model with high margins, with a disposable component, and we have an existing reimbursement code for all of our devices, and in particular the test strips. And a lot of upside potential for within the existing diabetes market to expand vertically within the diabetes market into insulin disbursement and other medications, and also horizontally to other indications such as blood coagulation and cholesterol, two of which we are already working on. Thank you very much.